Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Thursday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We are dangerously close to a fabulous weekend of football coming up. We've got 4 big divisional playoff games, and then we got a national championship game as Ohio State and Notre Dame lock up, which should be very interesting. Let's hopefully well played and dramatic game.
Competitive.
Competitive. Yeah, maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Although I'm not quite sure that will be the case, but we'll see.
Ooh.
We'll see. Good morning to you, Tim Ham, at our DSP affiliate in Dallas. What's going on?
Good morning, JP. Good morning, Tampa. Fun things happening. Big sports weekend for everybody this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. BJ Daniels, former USF quarterback, Super Bowl champion with the Seahawks, is going to join us in studio. He is en route, so we will welcome him in when he gets. And here he is. Look at that. Look at that intro. It's
wow.
Sit right down, my friend. It's absolutely perfect timing. Absolutely perfect timing. Let's see if we got there's your headphones. And Tim will pop you up right here. Good morning to you, partner. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. So you just come right in. This is how we do it here, man. You just sit right down and we're ready to go.
Impromptu.
And we're ready to go. You looking good? How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Doing well.
Good. Is this mic good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure everything's working. You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
You can hear Tim?
Absolutely. What's up,
All
Tim?
right. How are you, brother?
I'm good. How you doing?
Great.
So we got lots of football to talk about. This is an incredible weekend. You've been through this, obviously, with the Seahawks and making it all the way to Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. What are these guys going through right now? I mean, they're just, you look at some of these teams that, they're kind of new to this. I would put the Jaden Daniels and the Commanders in that category as they just take care of the Buccaneers. The Houston Texans are there for the second straight year, but then of course you got Mahomes, you got Stafford, you've got Josh Allen, you got guys that have been there before. So
Right.
what's going through their heads right now?
Yeah, what you just said was pretty cool too. It's an interesting dynamic. You have a bunch of young guys and you got a bunch of vets. So at the end of the day, I mean, you got to play your best football right now. So everything you've done throughout the year, you got to kind of self-scout and realize what we did right, what we did wrong, and try to, kind of put some nuances or motions or different formational shifts in
Put
the
some
game.
wrinkles in.
Yeah. But still stay true to what you're really good at.
Yeah. Yeah, and that'll be interesting. It's the chess game in a lot of these games. And as we go back to the Buccaneers, did you go to the game, by the way?
I did not.
I'm sure you watched.
I would definitely watch it.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on what happened in that game?
I mean, it definitely was a letdown for the city. Everyone had the expectation of the Bucs winning, and especially in that fashion, at the same time. But, I definitely thought there could have been some more offensive things done differently for them to be successful. But at the end of the day, you got to take care of the football, and name of the game is turnover. So if you turn the ball over, chances are you won't win that football game.
There's been some talks about that play call by Liam Coen.
Yeah.
You're at your 13-yard line, 15-yard line. It's a play they've run 17 times this year, the jet sweep. McMillan's run it 4 times. It's a handoff.
Right.
How do you think that's too risky of a play in that situation, or it's been part of their offense? It's a staple of their offense. If he gets the handoff, they got a big gainer. It looks like they got 2-on-2 on the outside with a guy that can rip it too. So what are your thoughts on the call?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that was a call to not be scary, to try to do something that was some semi-aggressive. But in those type of situations, with the game on the line, with the season on the line, you want to hand it off to someone who's been taking the ball and used to doing that consistently. So even 17 times is still not enough for me to want to call that play in that situation.
Interesting. Just in general, Liam Coen has taken his team from 32nd in rushing the football to 4th in the league this year, or 2nd in the league, I guess. Never been done before in the Super Bowl era. They've gone from a middling offense. I think they were 20th overall last year to 4th, top 5 in almost every category. What are your thoughts? We'll get to him as a possible head coach, but what the job he did this year?
He did a great job. I mean, at the end of the day, he's in a tough position. He's the one that's not playing the armchair quarterback.
Right.
So at the end of the day,
that's us. We're good at that. Yeah.
So he's got to put his best foot forward and believe in what kind of product he's putting out there. And The biggest thing is making sure the players rally behind you. You know, you can. I love. You know, I played for Kyle Shanahan. So at the end of the day, when he was offensive coordinator with the Atlanta Falcons, and now with you know, the 49ers, I mean, we believed in everything that he said.
Right.
You know, he would walk in the meeting room and say, "We're going to do this these first 5 plays, and then we're going to score. And we're going to come back." So he comes out with his first 15 plays of how these scenarios are going to work, and it's funny. It happened just like that. And people really believed in him in those situations. So once you get the players on your side, you know, and they believe in what you're preaching, per se, then you'll be fine.
Yeah. So he's interviewing for the Jags job.
Yeah.
One of the top candidates there. I have a feeling that he might get an interview with the Raiders as well,
Mm-hmm.
because it looks like they're zeroing in on John Spytek. I don't know how much you know him with the Buccaneers. I think he was also with Seattle for a little bit, as their new general manager. He's the assistant general manager for the Bucs. Obviously, he knows Liam Coen. They're looking for a new head coach. I think they would probably want to go with an offensive-minded head coach, to go with whoever their new quarterback is going to be.
Yeah.
So Liam is definitely in demand, and he will get multiple interviews. If you're the Buccaneers, do you let him out the door?
I mean, sometimes it's not his choice.
Right. Exactly.
You know, it's not the Bucs' choice, but you know, with an offensive-minded guy, you definitely want to make sure you have an offensive-minded, you know, position like the quarterback for field.
Yeah.
So that also, I think, will play a big part and big role into decision making for what he may decide for him and his own family.
Yeah, might be interesting too. I don't know where the Raiders go in quarterback, but if I were them, I'd take a long, hard look at Sam Darnold with the season that he had this year. He's kind of on that Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield reclamation project trek.
Right.
You know, they won 14 games this year in Minnesota. What are your thoughts on him? And the last 2 games were rough.
Right.
Ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Maybe exposing him a little bit, but 14 wins is 14 wins. He's had a hell of a year.
Got to keep the ghosts away from him. Don't let him see those ghosts.
Don't see the ghosts.
They were everywhere, weren't they? But yeah, I mean, I think even with the Raiders situation, you don't want to, in my opinion, bring in a young guy. You know, you don't bring anyone out of the draft. You get someone who's been a veteran, who's done it. Sam Darnold winning 14 games is remarkable. No one expected him to do that. He probably didn't expect to play.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to step up into that role, it proves the type of leadership he has to really take control of the locker room, the organization. And when playoff time comes, I mean, things get a little more stickier. So
yeah,
it doesn't matter who you are, what team. You're not going to go blow someone out by 30 to 40 points or, you know, in the playoffs. You have a lot of professionals on everywhere on the field on both sides, offense and defense. These coaches understand and watch your tendencies. So the playoff time is exciting because it's so dramatic. It's so close. It's so, you know, every yard really does count. Every inch does matter. So, you know, I wouldn't be mad at Sam Darnold right now in the situation that he provided for the, you know, the Vikings, because no one expected it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I look at that situation. If you're the Vikings and you got Sam Darnold who won you 14 games, or I guess maybe 12, because JJ McCarthy won a couple early on and looked damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're the Vikings, like, what are you doing? Yeah. I mean, you got to go back to JJ, right?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, that's the guy you drafted. That's the guy you invested financially in. And he didn't do anything wrong to necessarily lose his position. But the biggest key, though, is will he be healthy in time, and will he be the same player? I literally just watched Kirk Cousins not be the same guy with the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah. And Michael Penix look really good. So it just depends.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins will be back out on the market as well.
Yep.
Gross.
BJ Daniels joining us here. We're breaking down all the quarterback stuff. Back to the Bucs game. I don't think I've ever seen a game, let alone a playoff game, where you get 44 plays as an offense and only 7 possessions.
Yeah.
That was a weird game, but it's exactly what the Commanders wanted to do. They wanted to control the ball, keep the Bucs offense off the field.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what they did. 10-play drives, a 17-play drive that ate up 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And Jaden Daniels was exceptional in every way. What were your thoughts on, just as an offense? Can you get a rhythm when you only have 7 possessions?
No, not at all. Especially when you're used to being, you know, explosive.
Yeah.
You know, that's really hard. And then you kind of wear so much pressure on you to be like, okay, well, if we don't convert this first down, we might not get the ball back for the next 10 minutes,
right?
Know, like you said. So, you know, but that's playoff football formula. When I was with Seattle, we would just pound you to death with Marshawn, Russell would kind of dink and dunk, maybe get him on the move a little bit, throw a screen here or there, or a nice hitch or a slant. But we weren't taking deep shots. We wanted to protect the football and rely on our defensive scheme. And that's the same model that Dan Quinn took from the Seahawks when he was their defensive coordinator with Washington.
That's right.
So, yeah.
It was a well-executed game plan and game management going forward on fourth down because he knew he had to possess the ball, right?
Yep.
What do you think of those some of those gambles? I thought there were a couple times you should have just taken the points. But, if you're right 50% of the time and you get 7 instead of 3, it actually works out in your favor, which it did twice.
Yeah, I mean, it's that new era, new age of football where it's the statistics. What do the statistics say? The analytics.
Yeah. But analytics can only take you so far, right? Because there's analytics don't take into consideration how tired your defense is,
right,
what the weather's like, what is your quarterback. Did he just take a shot 2 plays earlier?
Right.
And it's sternum like that. So you got it. It's more of a gut feeling and philosophy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're right, you're a genius. When you're wrong, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Speaking of that, so when the Bucs get down there, 3rd and 1, botch play. Now it's 4th and 3. They go for the field goal to tie the game. I thought at the time that was the right call because you had 4 minutes and 41 seconds left.
Yeah.
Either they're going to go down and score. You should, when you have 3 timeouts left, you should be able to get the ball back.
Right.
You should be able to get the ball, even if they score. The only thing you can't do is let them bleed the clock. And that's exactly what happened. And they misused their timeouts, in my opinion. But still, when Jaden Daniels gets the 3rd and 1, then it's game over. It's game over. So the clock mismanagement really didn't hurt you. But just in general, I think that's the right call for Bowles to kick the field goal there and tie it up because you should be able to get the ball back one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, and he's a defensive guy.
Right.
He believes in his defense. So at the end of the day, you're still going to revert back to what you believe in. Yeah. What your philosophies are. So you couldn't have told me that the Bucs weren't going to stop them. With the timeouts that we still had. So, it's one of those things that is really unfortunate. It's the game of football. Russian roulette, the game of life. It's interesting.
How do you as a player handle that situation where and then the way it ends with the doink off the freaking upright? I mean, and that's your that's your season. You go back to OTAs, all the hard work you put in, it comes down to that. Yeah. And for literally how the ball hits the upright determines whether it goes in or out. Now you'd still have to go to overtime and win the game. Right. I get it. Yeah. But for your season to end like that, how gut-wrenching is that?
Well, I don't want to be too, unsympathetic towards the situation, but 1 yard line Marshawn Lynch is a very popular topic.
Okay. All right.
There it is.
Well, I wasn't comparing, but now that you bring that up, I wasn't going to bring it up. But okay. So what was that? What was that feeling like?
I mean, I can only imagine. I'm not inside the Bucs locker room, but I know what the locker room I've been a part of looks like.
Yeah.
That's
what
guys,
was that locker room like?
That's guys throwing chairs. That's guys going after it verbally with coaches. I mean, because literally you go through all of these, like you said, OTAs, training camp. Some guys have gone through injuries. Some guys are on their contract year to try to be re-signed. So they still feel like they have more football to play and things to prove. I mean, there's so many emotions that go through that. And then the doink off the field goal, I mean, the field goal post, I mean, that's tough. I mean, that's really tough because at the end of the day, you can literally go back and say, okay, well, how do we even get to this point? What block was missed? What play was not run the right way? What call was made that should have been different? Details. What quarterback, should he have checked the ball down or look left instead of right? There's so many things that go into it that lead up to that moment. So a real professional would say, you know what? We never should have even been in that situation to begin with. Yeah.
No. Yeah. So while we're talking about it, so did any coaches get choked?
No.
Did Marshawn beat anybody up?
No.
Come on, tell us the truth.
It didn't get that bad. But it's just so funny because always as a young player, you're always taught to respect your elders and your coaches and things like that. But in those positions, you have players making more money than coaches. You have a bunch of grown men that have to feed their children as well, just like coaches. So it's literally grown men going at it as grown men, and it's a thing that I've never seen before in my life. It was definitely eye-opening and changing because I was always, yes sir, coach, and all that, all those things growing up. But
I think the players could be excused in this instance.
Yeah,
in this instance,
absolutely.
Did it ever get down to like whose fault it was, like who made the call?
Yeah.
Who was it?
You didn't hear about it?
No, I probably did, but I forget.
It's some inside information here.
Inside information.
Was it Pete's call?
So the call goes through Daryl Bevel. That was our offensive coordinator at the time.
Right.
Pete heard the call. Pete approved the call. So there's a hand in hand in both of it. So it's not necessarily did Pete make the call, and that's what we were going to do. No, the offensive coordinator made the call. We all heard it, and it definitely was something that we went with. And I say I wasn't making the big bucks of the decision.
Right.
But
you were on the were you on headset?
I was on the headset. Yeah.
Like when you first heard it, what was your thought?
I mean, it was jaw dropping. But at the end of the day, we all still thought, like, what's the worst case scenario? It's an incomplete pass. Okay, then we'll run the ball with Marshall.
Yeah. But an inside slant where there's like a lot of congestion.
Like on the goal line, there's no room. There's no extra room on the goal line to run an inside slant. You're going to have two guys on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you run an out route and he's clearly open.
Us or nobody.
There's nobody on the, like it's either you're catching it or we're running the football in there. That seems like, because I think throwing in that situation is not a terrible idea, but it's got to be a safer throw than that.
Absolutely. And then at the same time, even if it's incomplete, we still had 2 timeouts.
Right.
So we did not need that pass to be even incompleted just to stop the clock. We could have stopped the clock on our own.
BJ, did you ever think that, okay, it's a questionable play call, but I especially after watching the tape for this many years, did you ever think that it was a weird play call, but it was just a worst throw? Like Russell should have recognized that coverage and he shouldn't have thrown the ball.
Well, I hate to say this truthfully, because I don't want to give Malcolm Butler or the Patriots any type of credit whatsoever.
He made a great play.
he made a great play. But that's what I'm also referring to when we talk about playoff football. We've only run that play once before, and we ran it against Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. Okay, so that play is on film because of our formation.
Right.
And we ran the exact same formation, the exact same play, the exact same way.
And Malcolm had said that he had studied that play and he knew where the ball was going.
Yeah. And that's just the difference with pros. I mean, they study film so much. They see a formation, they see the alignment of the receivers, and they have an idea. Okay, well, historically, what have they done? Let me at least take a chance on it. And he gambled right. And I think that's what makes playoff football so different. I mean, these are professional athletes who literally don't go to class. They don't have study hall. They literally from 9 to 5 watch film and prepare for these moments.
And that's why the playoffs are so exciting, because of the level of competition gets raised so much higher. And then you've got a guy like Malcolm Butler, who's a very cerebral football player. He knows the game in and out. He studies it, like you just said. So to go out and have success in the postseason, it's that much harder. And that's why it's so much more gratifying, I can imagine.
Absolutely. Yep.
If any of you guys have questions for BJ, put them in the comments and we'll read them up to him and we'll get his.
Buck Ray's Bolts asked if the coach got fired. He's probably talking about Daryl. No, he was there till 2017 or 2018. He stayed with the organization for a while.
I'm trying to get you centered up there, Porter. There we go. He did. That's right. He was around for a while. Yeah. But I guess the good part is you already had a ring.
Yeah,
most everybody on that team already had a ring. That would have been 2 in a row and a little bit of immortality there. But at least imagine if you didn't have a ring. That would
hurt.
Suck.
Oh yeah,
that would really suck.
Absolutely.
And there were probably some guys on the team that weren't on the year before, so it really sucked for them.
Yeah,
but that's just, and talk about finality. Oh. Brutal.
Well, and especially for an organization like the Seahawks that went all those years in the AFC, sort of squandering opportunities when Jim Zorn and Steve Largent were there playing, and then finally you make the switch to the NFC, and you're finally having some success. Russ comes in, is out of nowhere, and finds all his success, and you finally get that Super Bowl, and you're probably thinking, man, we can do this for a couple more years. You know, we could do 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 or something like that. You know, and then to lose that one that way and then to not get back again, that's got to be just gut wrenching.
The windows are so short.
Yeah, and I love to remind people the second time we went back to back. So beat the Broncos and then go back, play the Patriots. But you
didn't just beat the Broncos, you spanked the Broncos. That was a bad one.
That was a good one for
That was
sure.
a good one, yeah.
Was it 41-8 or something like that? It was just ridiculous.
Yeah. From the beginning, they just couldn't handle it. But yeah, I mean the NFC Championship game, we were down in the fourth quarter by almost 3 touchdowns to Green Bay. We had to come back in the fourth quarter just to even special teams and the onside kick that was botched by the Packers.
Right, yeah.
I mean, even all those things happened just to get to the Patriots game. So those are also emotions and thoughts that we're going through and feeling to be like, how do we get to this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So getting back to Liam Coen, and one of our listeners commented already, said, it feels like a lot of local media is supporting Todd Bowles. Do they truly believe he's the best man for the job moving forward, or is there something else at play here? This has been, for me, a tough one because I love Todd Bowles as a man, as a human being. He's always been very good to me. But objectively, as an observer and a person who's covered this team for almost 30 years, I look at the situation with Liam and I say, well, look, if Liam's going to get the head coaching job at Jacksonville or with Vegas, if I'm the Glazers, I've got to offer him a head coaching job in waiting or the head coaching if he won't take that. Because I think it might, the best case scenario would probably be to maybe run it back with Bowles and Liam, but I don't think that's going to be. I think Liam's going to get an offer. I really do because of what he's accomplished. And it's not, and you can make the case, he's only done it for 1 year. I get it. But your good friend Dave Canales was only for 1 year. They want the hot young coordinator. This is what teams want, and that's what Liam is. He checks all the boxes. Yeah. So I do think he's going to get an offer, if not Jacksonville, maybe somewhere else. That said, if you're the Glazers, you have a 39-year-old wonder kid and a 61-year-old Todd Bowles, who has, won 3 division championships in a row. Mm-hmm. It's a tough call. But for me, if I have to choose, I got to go with the young offensive coordinator because you've got a young offensive line. He works great with Baker. Baker's, got 5 to 7 more years in his prime. He's 29 years old. He can play, right. You can keep that coach, play caller, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, LaFleur, Jordan. I'm like, that's what everybody's looking for. The offensive coordinator, head coach, calling the plays, marry him up with the quarterback. Yep. This is continuity success. So I think it's a tough call for the Glazers, but if it's me, I'd have to go with the OC and pay Todd handsomely to move upstairs in a ceremonial role or whatever. He deserves the utmost respect.
Yeah.
But this is a tough call. What would you do if you're the owner?
No, it is a tough call. I think the biggest thing and I'm not in that locker room, but you have to ask or get a feel for the players.
Yeah.
Are they still listening to Todd's message? Are they still following his lead? Mm-hmm. And I hate to keep reverting back to Seattle, but with my experience, Pete Carroll would walk in the locker room, but at a certain point in time, Richard Sherman in his 7th or 8th year has heard the same message for the last 7 to 8 years. So that doesn't move him the same way. So, that is a question.
So that matters.
That matters. That question needs to be answered. And only the people in that locker room and that organization, the people upstairs can really answer that. But you do have a great point. Even with Canales being in Carolina, the league is moving towards these head coaches who are young, who can relate to the players, who are offensive-minded guys, which also in turn frees up another coaching position,
right?
Which is very vital and important. Even Bryce Young, for example, in Charlotte, I mean, he had 4 guys in this room, being able to communicate with them, from the offensive coordinator to the quarterback coach to the quarterback analyst. And then you bring in the head guy. You're hearing how to read offenses and building a very strong bond and relationship with the head coach because he's the one calling the plays.
Right.
I mean, that's tremendous. I mean, that's a relationship you want to have. Because at the end of the day, even when I was, playing at South Florida with Coach Levitt, I had Mike Canales as my quarterback coach. But yet and still, the great relationship me and Mike Canales had, I still wondered, what did Coach Levitt think? Like, I look to the sidelines and look at his reactions.
Interesting.
Did I make the right read? Was he pleased with the fact that I scrambled on this play? Like, those things happen. So for you to build that with the head coach, I think we'll build an even stronger relationship, not just with your quarterback, but your offense as well. Many times I've seen Canales, in Carolina step in the offensive meeting room and teach the offense the plays. And then your players are now looking at the offensive lineman who normally doesn't have that interaction with the head coach is now bonding and building something to where it's a strong thing, on game day. So I do think there's some big value in having your head coach as a young gunner and someone who also, calls the plays as well.
Yeah, my sense is because I was here when they fired Tony as well. And my sense is that those players were more connected to Tony than maybe Todd is to these guys, just because I think they were with him for so long with Tony, and he was such a father figure. It was a little bit different. I think I guess you could call him a player's coach, but I don't know if those bonds are as strong. I think obviously they love the guy and they play hard for him. There's no question about that. To reel off, 5 of 6, 6 of 7, even though they're lesser teams, it's the NFL. That's a hell of a job by a coach to get your team to come back in. Now, you'd rather not fall into that hole every year and get behind the 8 ball because the coach is responsible for that as well. Yeah. But the fact that he digs him out of the hole, but so much of it was from the offense. The defense did not play well this year. They did not play well in the playoff game, in my opinion. Even though it's 23 points that the Commanders scored, they never punted. They never punted, and they possessed the ball, and the Bucs defense could never make a play when they needed it most. Right. To me, I don't look at the points. I say that's not good defense. That's not winning defense. And 4 times this year the Bucs have lost on the final play. Their defense has not been able to get the stop, and that falls on the head coach, who's also the DC. I mean, if he were the defensive coordinator, if you were just evaluating him as the DC, would he get fired this year? I don't know. I mean, you have the 29th ranked pass defense. Now, look, they've had a lot of injuries, and I think from a personnel standpoint, they don't have the bell cow game wrecker. Antoine Winfield was that, and is being paid to do that, but clearly he was compromised with injury all year long, I believe, because we've seen him play. It wasn't a matter of his getting paid, having a bad attitude. That's not who he is. No, that's not who he is. So I'd have to chalk it up to. So the personnel was not great for him this year, and the Bucs know that. They know they knew that this wasn't a Super Bowl team, if they were being honest, right? Just defensively, they just didn't have the edge rush or the impact players to really make a deep run. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like what they've added with Bucky. On offense for sure. I mean, wow. Yeah, he's a ball of fire, seriously. And
he made Liam Coen look really good.
It makes offensive coordinators look good when you can just turn it around, hand it off, and he's breaking tackles more. He had more yards after contact than anybody in football, including Saquon, including Derrick Henry. Wow. 5'9", 192 pounds. Yeah. And he's got more yards after contact than any of them.
That's crazy.
I mean, he does it a little differently than those guys, but still. Yeah, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, he runs hard. Obviously Mike Evans is, so consistent.
Yeah.
It was cool to see Baker kind of, run around a little more than he's has before.
Big runs.
Because those first downs were important that he picked up. But I guess on the defensive side of the ball, you would have to say, what additions can you add in the secondary to continue to build depth, to be healthy? Because at the end of the day, number one, if you don't have the pass rush, you're not going to be that successful anyway. Right. Doesn't matter who your secondary is, but I think those additions and whether they can, pull up next year, I think would be very important.
It would help if they could find someone that could catch the ball in the secondary.
Yeah.
Like 7 interceptions on 630 pass attempts. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they're DBs.
That's why they're DBs. I know, but come on. Lord, we got to do better than that. BJ Daniels is joining us. We're going to talk all kinds of football. I want to get into, I know, can you stay till 11?
Yeah.
All right, let me just get one break in here. And I know you're working with USF and NIL, and I want to talk to you about NIL and what's going on with that. Not only USF, but collegiately wide. And we'll talk a little bit about the Ohio State Notre Dame game coming up as well. BJ Daniels in studio here for one more segment. We are brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. We are in the Jeeves Law Group studio, as a matter of fact, with BJ Daniels. So if you have any legal questions whatsoever, they will give you a free case evaluation. So just go to the website, contact them through there, either email them or call them, JEEVES lawgroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Get Scott Jeeves in your corner representing you. You will not be sorry. The Jeeves Law Group. Not attorney spokesman, offices St. Pete and Tampa. Back in 3.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted #3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Old Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing, reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go! Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here. So we're coming to you live from the Jeeves Law Group studio, also brought to you by Italiano Insurance. Make sure you do that insurance checkup, folks, because a lot of different companies out there that they represent, not just one. So if you're calling a 1-800 number, you're talking to one company. Let them shop it around for you to dozens and dozens of companies and find out the best product for you and the best price for you. So they'll save you thousands on your auto, on your homeowner's insurance, your business insurance, any insurance needs whatsoever. Italiano, they've been in business for over 60 years. So check them out at 813-877-7799. This handsome devil here in studio with us is BJ Daniels, former USF.
Oh, the other handsome guy. I thought you were talking about me.
Sorry. The other guys. Wow.
He is talking about you.
Wow.
Yeah. See?
Yeah, the handsome fellas. Yes, you are. All of you. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing with USF and NIL.
Yeah, so just raising money for NIL, so name, image, and likeness. So trying to make sure these student athletes get, obviously paid for what they're, producing and putting on the field. I think it is the Wild Wild West a little bit when you mention the NIL thing, because you start thinking about, Shedeur Sanders, Deion's son in Colorado, and all these millions of dollars that the Manning, Archie Manning kid is making and all that kind of stuff. But
the Underwood kid at Michigan that just got $10 million.
Crazy. Absolutely
the
crazy.
Oracle founder, or actually the Oracle founder's wife.
Yeah, it's insane. But the thing about South Florida is we're not quite on that pedestal yet.
Right.
We're trying to build to get there. So, I'm still dealing with kids who, are players who, men and women, because I raise money for all sports. Who's still dealing with just life stuff, whether that's bills. Some of them are new mothers or new fathers. Some of these kids have, family members who, have illnesses or cancer or whatever you may have it, but they're still looked at as the person that can potentially be the breadwinner for their situations and circumstances. So At South Florida, it's a little more intimate. There's some real stories that I know of some players and athletes that I'm really trying to just go out in the community, raise funds for, and just trying to get some support, for them.
So Michigan, Harbaugh was quoted as saying he was trying to build a $250 million war chest with some of the different alumni, obviously billionaires that have gone through Michigan to support Michigan football. He wasn't quite able to do that before he left.
Yeah.
But that's the goal of many of these Big Ten SEC schools.
Right.
How much of a disadvantage are you guys at? Like, how bad is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big disadvantage. I mean, when you think about, SMU and what they were able to accomplish this past year with their roster management, with the oil money they have out there in Dallas.
Do you have any idea what they're spending?
No idea. And there's a lot of phantom numbers out there too.
Yeah.
So there's some schools that are not getting as much as you think, and there's some schools that are really getting it. Ohio State is at the top. That total.
Well, what's the rumor on that, Tim? 38 million for their.
That's
roster?
what I mean. I'm hearing. Yeah, I'm hearing that. 38.
You guys, where are you guys at? 35 million.
we're knocking on the door somewhere.
You're way down the hall.
Yeah,
way down the hall.
That money's going towards our stadium.
That's true. And those are choices you have to make.
Yeah.
Now, so I mean, can you tell us, is that public knowledge where you guys are at just from a total roster standpoint, or is that something that you keep proprietary?
Yeah, we keep that under wraps.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I got to ask. I'm a reporter. I got to ask.
Yeah.
I totally understand. So, but how hard is it? Can you characterize how hard it is to keep a Byron Brown and how many suitors were coming after him? I know he got injured this year, so probably wasn't what it could have been.
Right. But
even last year, I'm sure there were a lot of people come sniffing around.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that we can how we can keep a Byron Brown, for example, is recruiting and retention. So, all the guys you want to recruit and you want to create that family atmosphere. You want to show them why it's good to come to USF and show them that they can get their academics done here, make sure their mom and dad feels good about the staff, all those things. But once the season over, then you have the poachers, the people that want to, come pick him up because he did so well. And that happened with, Xavier Weaver, one of the receivers we had that went to Colorado, now playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
Jimmy Horn, who went to Colorado, who was one of our receivers before. So back to
you
Byron,
can't compete with that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can't. And at the end of the day, there's a financial dollar attached to most of these schools that these players are going to. But at the end of the day, I think that, we probably lost those two guys that I mentioned because of the atmosphere that Dion was creating.
Yeah.
So those are things that
and the money.
Yeah. So you can't necessarily fight those things. But, one thing I always, make sure I say, to our athletes is that make sure that the university you go to, you can actually live and grow in that same city. I couldn't imagine seeing myself go to Clemson and being in Death Valley to where
after school.
Yeah, after school. Like that's not happening.
Not a lot of opportunity.
No, not at all. So with Tampa, I mean, the things that it could provide for you after sport, so the ceiling is so high, and that's why I'm still here, or have come back because just there's a point in time where you're gonna have to take that helmet off, and that money may not last. So how do you continue to thrive in a city where you're supported, where beating Florida State for the first time is a big deal?
Yes.
There are things that happen and you can accomplish. So make sure you go to a city that loves you, not one that just likes you because you're another number.
That's a great
on a roster. So
that's a great point because not all these guys are going to the NFL.
Right.
So what is the future in terms of evening the playing field? I know there's a House settlement coming up that's going to provide $22 million per team. I guess this is how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Is that something that USF is going to be part of, obviously? And then will that level the playing field?
Yeah.
And where does that money come from? Is that from the NCAA, or do you guys have to raise that up to that money and more and can raise more? How does this going to work?
Yeah, from my understanding, and it changes every day. I think it's going to come from the NCAA. We're also potentially going to get into a situation where revenue sharing is important. Yeah. That we can also be able to get funds for these athletes. I know for a fact that the stadium is going to help out a lot. Once we finally get that, we're no longer paying
get parking revenue, concession revenue. This is big time stuff that it was all you weren't getting.
No, and I don't think people realize we're paying Raymond James to play in that stadium. Right. So now
Blazers,
everything, everything goes to us, and we're able to kind of continue to grow and piggyback off of, what can happen, and not just football games, concerts, bowl games, so there's so many different things that can really help our university financially.
So how quickly do you think USF could move into the ACC, the Big Ten? Let's talk about that. I think Michael Kelly has positioned you guys phenomenally well.
Yeah.
There's probably not an AD in college, people may not know this, that is more well-connected than Michael Kelly. That helps tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts? What is around the program? How close do you guys think you are?
Yeah, I think we're pretty close. Obviously, the relationship you mentioned with Michael Kelly and his relationship with ACC, and obviously Will Weatherford, being on our board, and his brother, Drew Weatherford, obviously at Florida State. Yeah. So I do think it's a situation where if one of those two, Florida State moves out, we possibly can move in. Yeah. I think those relationships, really matter, with us as far as who the next team would be to have that opportunity. I think it's big because sometimes not always who you know, it's who knows you.
Right.
At the same time, we also have to put out a good product. That we have to continue to win in multiple sports. Not just football. But it's really cool. We looked at a statistic. There was like 1.9 million that watched our game on Christmas Eve in Hawaii.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a huge number.
So that was huge. That was
huge.
Big for us on the national stage. Also to come out with the win. So having that sex appeal, I guess you can say, for us being in that position and coming out with a victory, it helps, with the voters and the people that really, matter to make those decisions to move forward. So if we continue to improve in basketball and be consistent, we won our in-conference tournament last year, the regular season, but what can we do to continue to show that product is consistent? Yeah. I think that's something South Florida has to continue to do, is show we can be consistent. We always will beat the big guys, but can we really just kind of hone in and win our conferences or be a top contender every year?
BJ Daniels joining us here, former USF quarterback and Super Bowl champion with the Seattle Seahawks. Wrote a book as well. How's the book doing?
Book's doing well.
Yeah.
Book's doing well. I'm still trying to figure out when I'm gonna do my book. Book's doing well. Beyond the Red Zone is the name of it. Just love. I'm going out doing speaking engagements now, but I just love sharing my story. Just about overcoming so many different things. How can I help people with mental health? And just the overall sense of what do you do when things don't go right? I've kind of changed my narrative a little bit. I love the fact that when you study or read or write, push sleds, work, run sprints, no one does any of that to fail. Everyone does that to be the guy,
right.
Or the woman. So, or be in the position to be successful. So when those things don't happen, that's life. That's injuries. That's maybe your boss not liking someone else more than they like you.
Mm-hmm.
That's
been there, done that.
That's things that just happen. It just happens. You got to keep rolling.
Thanks, John Momola. Sure. Kidding. It's all worked out just fine.
Absolutely.
It's all worked out just fine.
It's still going.
That's right. I'm still going. I'm still here. They can't kill me. I'm the Terminator. They can't turn off the microphone. I'll find one somewhere.
Yes, sir.
No, and it is a great message, especially now, because I think, you're not an old soul like me. You're still a pretty young guy, but I think you've probably seen, the change in the youth.
Yeah.
Phones, social media, it's changed. I have two older kids from my first marriage, 26 and 22, and I'm now fathering two stepkids that are 12 and 9.
Gotcha.
It's like a century's worth of difference. I mean, it is so different because of what they're exposed to, and it's just between the phones and the internet and it's hard to control as a parent. What have you seen in athletes? How have they changed since, when you were playing to where they are now?
Yeah. For me, I was with a group of guys, Sam Barrington, Kayvon Webster, Jason Pierre-Paul, all these guys who literally just Nate Allen. They wanted to be the best football players they could be from week to week. And then when they kind of got NFL attention, it was like, okay, now I want to do whatever it takes to make it, to then come back, provide and help with my family or whatever their situations were. and we were at South Florida with a chip on our shoulder.
Yeah.
We were pissed.
Yeah.
You know, that Florida State didn't want us, or Miami didn't want us, or we weren't heavily recruited, or we were 3-star.
So you went and beat them.
Yeah, so we had something to prove.
Yeah.
You know, today, you know, where's my NIL money? You know, you hear that a lot. And I'm not saying South Florida in general. I'm just saying
Everywhere.
across the board. You know,
so it's already just more about money than it is about the team.
It's money. It's, you know, even though you might lose by 30, you know, I still see, you know, people all over the country still posting pictures on Instagram like they won. You know, you got this cool picture of them, and in the background is they're getting blown out by 30. I mean,
Jaden Milroe doing the NIL thing.
You know, it's just so it's so me driven. You know, and then at the same time, if you think about the other perspective of it, you know, where I come at it from my book, you know, you have guys who were scared to make mistakes. Now, if you make a mistake, you're the next meme. They're gonna, you know, repost it. It's gonna be shared everywhere. You're gonna be, you know, a bum as a person, you know, if you make a mistake on the football field. Like, so there's just so many different dynamics I think these young athletes deal with now that I never even thought about. It was not a problem, was not even a thing. You know, but, you know, it's an interesting situation. So I do think a lot of us have to kind of build that community around them to kind of help them out and educate them a little bit.
Yeah, and you mentioned that's such a big thing at USF because it has to be a winning edge because you can't compete financially right now.
Yeah.
So you got to build that familiarity. And how is Coach Golish gone about doing that? It seems like he has built something special there where guys really want to be there, that it is more than money. It has to be more than money.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Golish, me and him are close in age, so their eras, you know, are very similar. As far as, like, you know, you're playing for pride. You're playing for a purpose. You know, we have a job to do, and if you're not doing it, then I'm going to hold you accountable. I love the fact that he has a little Jim Levitt in him, you know, in the sense that he'll hold you accountable. What he says is what he says. He's honest enough to say, right now, you're just not good enough. And I think that message is honest. And I think that's something that, you know, everyone can respect.
Yeah.
I enjoyed, you know, hearing him, you know, kind of get on, you know, the quarterback and the receiver and the backup defensive lineman. He treats all of them the same. Because it matters. You know, you want to be able to trust the guys you're putting out there on the field and the product. So, you know, I think that you can fall in the trap as a coach. And I've seen this around the country where you just baby kids and you're so worried about yelling at them and you don't want them to transfer because you hurt their feelings. Like, Coach Golish isn't like that at all. He's still that old school, that mentality coach.
You can still do that?
Yeah.
Kids won't go crying to the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Wow, that's shocking. Are getting news here in the comments that Mike Tomlin is out?
I have not confirmed that anywhere on the interwebs.
Okay. All right, Christopher Cole, are you leading us astray, Christopher Cole? What are you doing? Could you believe, like, Mike Tomlin? Like, I don't think the Steelers would fire him.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen.
I mean, he official news?
He might. That's not official yet.
Okay.
No.
Patrick Burnham says, always good to have Lincoln High School guys on the show.
Pat Burnham. That's my guy.
Shout out, Pat.
What's up, Pat?
He's our FSU expert, comes on all the time. That's right. Lincoln High, Tallahassee.
Yes, sir.
So as USF moves forward now on the field, you know, last year, was it a disappointment? I kind of tell the fans, because I think the fans wanted more. They felt like this team was ready to win a conference championship at the beginning of the season. I was like, let's pump the brakes here. Let's get to year 3, and there should be a little bit more. I think that's for a coach anyway. Year 3, you've got 2 years of recruiting, maybe 3 years of recruiting under your belt. You've been able to establish your systems. I think the year 3 is an expectation to take a jump. Is that fair? Because I think last year, I think the fans got a little ahead of themselves. Is that fair?
Are you speaking in reference last year after we beat Syracuse?
Yeah. He's got, you know, they come in the second year. Oh, we're going to win the AAC. We're ready to go. And I'm like, you go back and look at who you beat. And I'm like, all right, let's get some quality wins under our belt here, and then start talking about winning the championship.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take your hat off to the fact that you have a coach that and a team with rosters changing as much as they change, as fast as they change.
30-40%.
You know, you went to back-to-back bowl games and won.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not an easy thing to do. Only 15 teams in the entire country have gone back-to-back bowl games and been successful this year.
Wow.
You know, so that's an impressive stat in itself. And then at the same time, you did this without your starting quarterback.
That's right. That's right. This just in.
Yeah, you did it without your starting quarterback. So you got a guy that in Bryce Archie who hasn't played a lot of football, more baseball than football. Transferred from Coastal Carolina. His first starting game ever was this past year. So he had the opportunity to kind of grow into the quarterback role and learn, on the fly. And then also the team had to learn how to trust him as well. So I do think it's a big deal for what we've been able to accomplish. I do think, unfortunately, we've had so much success early in our young football lifespan that, we kind of sometimes get spoiled and think, we're just supposed to be there today. We're still building.
It takes decades to get to top 25 status, and Jim did it in what? 6 years? Was it 5 or 6 years, right?
5 or 6 years, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It might have been less than that now that I think about it, because I remember talking about it saying no one's ever done this before. No one's ever built a program and gotten it into the top 25 this quickly.
Right.
So, maybe that did spoil the fans a little bit, because it ain't easy.
No, it's not.
And it's harder than ever for USF, being, given the NIL situation.
Yeah. But I'm still a firm believer in believing in the underdog. I mean, heck, I was an underdog, so I'm still on board with that. But I do think that we still have to be able to be thankful for the opportunities that we've had and how successful we have been, and where we're going to continue to ascend to. So, we're playing against teams and organizations that have had 100 years of football under the belt, who already have football stadiums, who already have revenue generating in different areas and ways. And we're still competing. We're still going up against these Goliaths and doing what we
toe to toe with Alabama.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that doesn't happen often. Not in Alabama. No.
Oh hell no. Were you there for that one?
No, I watched it on TV.
Did you go to Hawaii?
I did.
How was
Hawaii? I went to Hawaii. I chose Hawaii over Alabama.
That's a good point. That's good. I'm like Tuscaloosa, Honolulu. Okay, I'm going Honolulu. How was that?
It was amazing. It was my first time going to Hawaii.
Yeah, I've never been.
Unfortunately, with my NFL career, I did not take advantage of all the trips I could have taken.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to miss this one, and it was amazing. I got to climb a mountain of not an active volcano, but I got to get on a boat, do some things out in the Pacific Ocean that a kid from Tallahassee would have only dreamed to do. So I was very thankful.
The players had an awesome time, I imagine.
Oh yeah, I mean, they probably hung out a little bit too much, more than they should have. But as long as you get the win, it doesn't.
That's
matter.
right. That's right. Don't tell any of those secrets. But you want the kids, and that's a delicate thing for the coaching staff. Like you want them to have a good time.
Yeah.
But you also want them to get their work done. So
right.
That's a fine line. But so you did a little fishing, did a little hiking, and then just a beautiful place. And,
it is. It really
and that's
is.
a hell of a recruiting tool too. And the transfer portal, as I recall, USF did pretty well, right?
Yeah,
they brought in a few kids from the SEC.
Yeah, we got a receiver from Tennessee.
Yeah,
and we got a couple big time receivers. So we'll see what happens soon. I mean, at the end of the day, you want these guys to be able to produce too.
Yeah,
so I never was a really firm believer in the big names schools.
Right.
It just has to be, is this guy really ready to play? We don't want the fifth string running back from Auburn. That's not going to help us,
No.
not to where we're trying to go. We don't have that guy, whoever that may be. But yeah, I mean, you definitely want to have guys come in and fit the mold, be healthy, be able to contribute to the team and understand that they're in a new environment with a second chance. So, produce, go out and produce.
Yeah. Tim, you got any questions for BJ?
I had some questions earlier when we were talking NFL. Can I ask another NFL question, BJ? You mind circling back to that? I wanted to talk a little bit more about Baker Mayfield and what your thoughts are on Baker's sort of rise to where he is now. When you look at his career, he's sort of been a bad luck quarterback. Of course, anybody's a bad luck quarterback that gets drafted by Cleveland the last 30 years or so, But, I mean, when you look at the offensive coordinators that he worked with, I think he had 3 different OCs in his 4 years in Cleveland. Then you go to the Panthers and you're with a new guy, and then the same season you go to LA where you've got Liam Coen and others in your ear. And then you come to Tampa Bay, and now you're on in your second year and your second OC. How impressive is it to you that he's been able to accomplish some of the things that he's been able to accomplish with all of these different voices in his ear, and really with no consistency in maybe what is the most important position, coaching position for a quarterback at offensive coordinator.
Man, it's so impressive. From the smallest thing I could potentially even think of, right? How do you say your cadence? There are offensive coordinators and coaches that want you to speak a certain way, say hike or hud or whatever a certain way. There's so many different nuances to just that. Verbal communication. How do you call a play? How do you read the coverage in this play? What foot do you have forward? The right foot versus the left foot? Is this play consists of a 3-step drop or a 5-step drop? I mean, there's so many different things and ways that coaches want their offense to be ran. So for him to be able to do all those things with each coach and adjust is just a credit to him and his competitiveness, because we see that his intelligence. And I do think there is a coach, and I want to give Coach Canales another shot, and just because I was with him in Seattle. I don't want to quite call him the quarterback whisperer, but the way, and I've had him as a coach, so the way he kind of explains and breaks things down kind of unlocks a box for you in the next level of maturity that you probably didn't have before.
Oh wow!
So with Canales being with him here in Tampa, yeah, he wasn't with him very long, but he may have given him the opportunity to see the game a little different, which can also help him kind of mature into where he is even today with a whole nother offensive coordinator, but still be successful. So
that's interesting.
Nice.
That's interesting. Drill down a little bit on that. Did you talk to Dave about what he did with Baker specifically?
He mentioned, I didn't talk to him, Canales specifically, but when I was in Carolina, Dave would mention, things that how Baker would read things and how he would convey that message to Baker, and he would say that in these Carolina Panthers meeting rooms.
Right.
So he's talking to Bryce Young.
Right.
Saying these things.
Yeah.
When we're watching film of how to teach Bryce the new offense, it's the Bucs offense.
Yeah.
It's Canales.
This is how Baker did it.
This is how Baker, and that's who's on the big screen. So yeah, absolutely.
How about that?
Crazy.
Yeah, and Bryce, I'll be honest with you, I never thought Bryce was going to be a star in the NFL. I just think his stature is just such that it's just so hard for him.
Yeah.
And then, going to that place, Carolina, before Dave, I mean, that was not a great situation.
No.
So, and typically these guys that get drafted high go to bad situations.
Right. No.
So what Dave was able to do with him in the second half of the season, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. That was a hell of a job. What can you tell us about that turnaround? You weren't there during the season, but watching it from afar, how did that happen? And the whole team, I mean, they played really well the second half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, in Bryce's situation, I think going into training camp with the new coach, he didn't quite understand what Canales wanted from him. And in turn with that, you're also, as a quarterback, trying to prove yourself to a new coach, which is also hard. Also, when you have a veteran like Andy Dalton behind you, who can probably pick it up a little bit, probably been in the NFL a little bit longer than you. So I think training camp, he was still trying to find and build his confidence. He didn't have a lot of reps in preseason at all. I think he only played one preseason game, just one series.
I don't get that.
Versus the Buffalo, the Bills. And so I kind of had an idea it might be rough for him at the beginning of the season. Did I think he would get pulled? I did not. But I think Bryce, got his confidence back, kind of understood a little more about what Canales was trying to ask him to do or get him to see. So then at the latter part of the season, you match his confidence with the knowledge. Now you get a chance to see the kid from Alabama who has fun, has some great plays and some highlight moments. I think the next thing for him is to try to get some talent around him. He has a lot of talent that's young, but I think Carolina's gonna need like a star guy, someone else they can bring in to help out.
That's so important to a young player to just have someone. And the difference between a receiver who's average, and that next level guy for a quarterback where he's going to get separation and he's going to make that catch, even if it's not a perfect ball.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's kind of important, huh?
It makes
important to have Mike Evans out there, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It makes all the world of difference. I mean, a guy that's not open, you can throw him open. You know, at the end of the day, Mike Evans is the guy you see consistently. He has 1,000 yards because you can throw it anywhere and he'll go get it. Yeah. He does not have to have that separation. His size, his body control, things he can do will help. So Carolina needs to find that guy as well to try to help Bryce out.
All right. Anything else you're working on before you head out of here? You want to promote?
No, man. I'm just
Go
happy
get the
to
book,
be here.
Beyond the Red Zone.
Beyond the Red Zone, yeah.
Well, listen, you are welcome to come in anytime, partner, and talk football. You got any picks? Are you following NFL so much where you can pick these games? Or are you just like,
because people ask me all the time, who's your favorite team? I'm like, man, I don't have a team. I like players, but there's nobody specifically I'm rooting for.
Who do you want to watch in the playoffs besides Mahomes? You can't say Mahomes.
Well, Lamar,
Josh Allen,
Lamar. There you go.
So good.
Like I'm
Why has he not been good in the playoffs?
I don't know.
How? Like, explain this to me.
Well, I think now he also does not have. He has the running game.
Yeah.
I think, and that's what it's going to.
And look, Lamar doesn't call the plays. That AFC Championship last year was a miserable failure by Todd Monken, and I was not impressed.
And Monken's he's a great.
He is. I know.
Yeah,
What was that? What was that? You hold Kansas City to 17 points, and you can't score more than 10. Come on.
I think the only other thing that'll stop Lamar in the playoffs if Baltimore has that icky bad weather when the field's wet and Lamar's slower and
it takes away a huge advantage. Yeah.
I mean, they're in Buffalo this weekend, right? So
okay.
Yeah.
We got Baltimore at Buffalo, and the Bills are 1-point underdogs at home.
Okay.
Josh Allen as an underdog at home. That's going to be a hell of a game. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most. KC and Houston. The Chiefs are 8-point favorites. They had a week off. Saw this stat this morning.
Well, they had more than a week off because the starters haven't played a game since Christmas.
Wow.
Patrick Mahomes, 6-0 in the divisional round. 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Is that good?
That's impressive.
That's
video game numbers.
Oh, it changes this week, Tim?
I think that changes this. I'm not saying they're going to lose to the Texans.
Okay.
But I think Mahomes is going to have a rough go at it this week after being off since Christmas.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels at the Lions.
That's a tough one.
He's good.
Yeah, he is.
He's so good.
He definitely is. Lions are going to put pressure on the quarterback, though.
By the way, the Commanders are 9.5-point dogs.
9.5-point dogs. There's some people picking Washington, but I think Detroit's they're just too good.
Especially at home. I mean, that atmosphere is crazy.
You like to play for Dan Campbell?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Kneecaps? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hell to the end. And the Rams at the Eagles.
Supposed to be snow in that game. They're forecasting snow for that game.
I'm going with the Eagles.
Yeah, that's a perfect spot for the Eagles.
I just can't with a clean conscience ever.
Southern California Rams, they play indoors. Now you're gonna get dirty and snowy.
Yep.
That's a big deal, right?
Yeah, it is.
Cold weather games for guys like you in Florida. I mean, you grew up. It matters, right?
Yeah, my first cold weather game, I think we played against UConn and it was snowing.
Oh, I remember that. Yes.
The ball felt like a brick. And one of the first times I tried to throw it in warm-ups, it just fell out of my hand. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're trying to throw pinpoint passes.
Right.
Take a little air out of it. I've heard that works.
That works.
I heard that helps the gripping of the ball a little bit. I don't know where I got that, but
just a rumor.
I hear things.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be an interesting weekend. Well, BJ, thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate it. You're welcome anytime here in our G's Law studio. Go get the book, Beyond the Red Zone, at Amazon. Buy it. It's a great read. Very motivational. If you need a little motivation, dealing with some things, great book. Absolutely. And some great stories in there as well. Thanks, partner. Appreciate it.
Good talking to you.
All right, we will take a quick break here. We'll come back on the other side. We're going to get into some hockey talk. I'm going to talk some hockey, and we're going to do some baseball as well, as the Rays have been making some moves, spending big money for the Rays, and we'll tell you all about it when we come back. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Golden Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great local benefactors, and they have the best prices and the best selection. So if you're thinking about popping the question, it's a no-brainer. Go where you know you're getting what you pay for, right? You know, fake diamonds are out there, folks, but you won't find them at the Golden Diamond Source. 3800 Almerton Road, always online at goldendiamondsource.com. Back in 3. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Hey guys, why not kick off 2025 by popping the question? Yes, and you know where to get that perfect engagement ring. It's the Gold and Diamond Source. The best prices, the best quality, and yes, get her a real diamond. You don't want to go with the fake stuff. And January's birthstone is garnet for all you FSU fans, right? Get 15% off all the unforgettable garnet jewelry at the Gold and Diamond Source. Also, discover Emilique by Emily Johnson Weintraub, a sleek and modern jewelry line that makes everyday gifts extraordinary. And don't forget, you have any unused gold? Turn it into cash or a stunning new piece. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. You can do it all at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. What the hell is that? That picture on the screen? Yeah, thank you. That was weird. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here in our second hour as we roll on here. Big thanks to BJ Daniels and good thanks to the Cafe Paradiso folks over there as well. Paulo Tini and his crew at Cafe Paradiso. Make a reservation now on Open Table. You will not be sorry. Go get some of that salsicha, farfalle salsicha. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I want the sea bass.
And the branzino, the sea bass as well. Yeah. Man, when he brought that food in last week, oh, dude, I literally was playing golf the next day, and I was like constantly thinking of getting back to warm up that lasagna and chow that sucker down. I was like, I'm not going to eat anything at the turn. I'm going to wait and then chow down. It was so good.
I don't even want to hear about it.
It was so good. So good. All right.
By the way, for everyone wondering, over on X, I posted a link to BJ Daniels' book Beyond the Red Zone, so everybody can go check it out and purchase it on Amazon if you would like. It's going to be a good read.
Yeah, it really is. It's good stuff. Isn't that interesting? God, there's so many interesting things he said that I wanted to dig in more on. But just how certain coaches can get into mind of quarterbacks like Canales and Baker, and just kind of change the way they look at how they read things and how they play. And you could see like it kind of click with Bryce, it kind of click with Baker, and it kind of click with Geno Smith. I mean, Dave Canales has a pretty damn good track record now being able to reach guys. And again, this is what teams are looking for. This is what Liam Coen presents. Now, I texted with my good friend Rick Ballou, who joined us on the show last week, former Jaguars sideline guy, XL 1010 over there. And I asked him, I said, any news on how Liam's interview went? And he just said nothing credible. So he has not heard anything about how it went. My guess is he interviews pretty well.
I think it's significant to take into account here that Liam was the sixth coaching candidate to interview with the Jags. and they already have 4 more scheduled behind him. So it's not like he's the only one they're looking at and he's very high on their list, because he's the 6th person they've talked to, and they've already scheduled 4 more after him. So let's tamp down the panics here, Bucs fans, because I don't know that the Jags would be the best. And I don't know how Liam feels about this, obviously, but I don't know that would be the best move for him. Just, I don't know.
I mean, if he's looking for long-term success, why would he leave Tampa Bay?
It would be in Tampa Bay, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so, but then it goes to, will he get the job? I firmly believe this. And, we had Scott Reynolds on the other day. I read, JC Cornell, who's another guy that covers the Bucs and the NFL, basically saying, why would you, if you had the chance to keep Liam Coen, why would you choose a 61-year-old Todd Bowles, going to be 62 next year, over a 39-year-old offensive wonder kid that everybody's looking for? I mean, it's just, I understand the political ramifications of it and all those other things. I get that. And I know it's, how do you fire a guy that's been, and all I say is Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy had a better record than Todd Bowles, like significantly better. And so I know the Glazers would be willing to do it. And I think they would do it. I think it's I don't even think it's a hard call at this point. It's awkward. I get it. It's awkward to talk about. I get it. But if I owned the team and had the significant investment, as I do, and had Baker Mayfield and had all the offensive numbers that dramatically went up under Liam Coen. Now, did Liam have his best day in the playoffs? Probably not, but he only had 44 snaps, for God's sakes.
And it was the first time ever calling plays in the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. I don't necessarily think a jet sweep is that risky of a play, but BJ makes a great point. It's not. Jaden Daniels had, McMillan had only run that play 4 times. And you would rather hand it off to somebody who is used to taking handoffs, and Bucky Irving, who's running really well. But that's, Liam's offense is completely based on that type of deception. Is, you set up in a formation like that and it looks like it's going to go, and Bucky's running well. So what happens? The linebackers start creeping up. The outside edges start creeping in. They want to get to Bucky as soon as he gets the ball. And now you got a guy on the fly on the jet sweep. Boom, he's outside of you. And they had two blockers on 2 players and a huge lane to run in. Jalen McMillan's going to take that for 20 yards or more. He could take it to the house. Then everybody's saying, what a great call. What a great call. So I don't have a huge problem with it, but I get it. And that's its circumstance. It's a little bit more risky than the others. I get it. But you only have 7 possessions and 44 touches, 44 plays. Your mistakes are going to be magnified dramatically, So I think Liam's a hell of an offensive coordinator. I think his best days are ahead of him. This is just year 1 where they've had to do the install. In year 2, you're not installing, you're perfecting. You're perfecting the offense with all the same people. So you've got continuity in coaching, you've got continuity in play calling, you've got continuity in personnel. And you're already the 4th best offense, scoring 30 points a game. I mean, obviously that's going to go up, I would think, in year 2. I think you're going to have an even better offense. That stands to reason, especially if Chris Godwin comes back. Oh, my Lord. And the only way to really screw it up is to bring in a whole different coordinator. And you could say, Grizzard or whoever this guy is, who's an analyst or who seems to be really smart and everybody's high on him, Grizzard, Grisham, something like that. Great. But the chances of him being as good as Liam Coen in calling plays. Now Liam had not called plays in the NFL full time, but he'd been calling plays at Kentucky. And so he'd done it before. It's a big deal and it's a big difference. So we'll see, but I don't think Liam's done interviewing. I think there'll be some other teams that come interview him, and we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But I think in the end, I don't think he's leaving. And I'm going to keep saying that until he leaves. That's just my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. I'm not getting this from Jason Light or anybody else. And by the way, I know people keep hitting me up with, well, look what Jason Light said about Todd Bowles. Look what he said about, he did a great job. What's he going to say?
What else is he going to say?
What's he going to say?
Guys, Todd Bowles sucked this year, but we're bringing him back.
Mediocre at best, but we're bringing him back. I mean, come on. I mean, sometimes people, it's like, yeah, they come to when Liam gets a job offer, if he gets a job offer, then tell me what Jason Light says, and that'll be most important. We're going to stick with Todd Bowles and let Liam go.
Yeah,
and if that happens, I think it's a tremendous mistake, and we'll see. We'll see if it turns out to be a mistake. We'll see. We'll find out because we're going to play games next year.
Yeah.
So
with or without Liam.
Yeah. And by the way, what I say, what Scott Reynolds says, what Rick Stroud says, that doesn't mean a hill of beans. The Glazers are going to do what they want to do. Now, do they listen to chatter? Yeah, I know they do. And it's from people that have been covering this team for 30 years. So if I were them, I'd probably listen. I'm not going to, go, take it out of hand. They've got way more information than we have anyway. So, I mean, if I had all the information that they had, maybe I'd have a different opinion, but I'm just basing it on what I see, what I hear people talk about. And I think there's a lot of people that would agree with me. Absolutely. Again, am I reporting that Todd Bowles is getting fired? No. My point is, if it were my decision, I would, it came down between Liam and Todd, it'd be Liam. It'd be Liam for me.
JP, we did have a notable death announcement this morning.
Oh, no.
Someone that will ring through to you and me, our baseball childhood and into our adult childhood as
no
has passed away.
Oh,
that's a tough
man. What an icon, and it became an icon because of the Miller Lite commercials.
Yeah.
The great Miller Lite commercials.
Those commercials brought a lot of those old retired players back into the limelight too, just in the best possible way.
Oh my God. Yes. So good.
Love those, man.
Just a bit outside.
Madden busting through the thing at the end, and Rodney Dangerfield.
I tell you, don't get no respect.
That's pretty good. You might think about dressing up as Rodney for Halloween this year.
Yeah. Tell you. My wife. I gotta get some Rodney jokes.
Love Rodney, dude.
Which is what in the quote off season, the summertime, we'll do the whole Rodney Dangerfield show. That'd be fun.
He's so great.
Who doesn't get respect? Caddyshack was just amazing.
We're all gonna get laid.
Back to school. The Triple Lindy.
I watch Back to School probably twice a week here in the studio. When I'm in here working and doing my writing or doing research, I'll put it up on one of the TVs because I love that movie. And I'll have it on, and I have it on the big TV out in the front room with the window. And there's people that walk by all day long. They always wonder what we do because I have that whole bar set up, in the front room. And the TV, and these guys, they'll come by and I'll see them peeking in the window. They'll knock on the door. Oh my God, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, what a dude. Had a chance to meet him once at a Rays game. And was that Rays or I think it was Braves, actually Braves. And what a super nice guy. Super nice guy. He was sitting down there in the Braves stadium. This is the old stadium. They had a little media dining area. And I'd always like going there before the game because you never know who's going to show up. Like one day I sat next to Vin Scully and chatted with him for a while. And he talks just like in real life, the way he talks on the radio.
The way he broadcasts.
Hey, young fella. Did you know my first game was at Dodger Stadium? Isn't it a great place? Oh, the palm trees and the light breeze. Oh, it's just fab. Chavez Ravine.
The majesty of Chavez Ravine.
I'm just in there going, could you just keep talking for a while? I don't care what you say. Just keep talking.
Yeah.
Jimmy Leland. I one day sat down and it was Jimmy Leland and it was another old guy. Who was it?
Sparky Anderson.
It was Sparky Anderson. Yes. Yes,
thinking of all the old guys. Yeah,
it was spring training, and the Pirate. It was a Tigers. It was a Tigers game, and both of those guys were there. So yeah, and they're just I'm sitting there while they're talking baseball back and forth. I'm like, holy crap! But it was in Atlanta, and Bob Uecker came in, and he was just kind of sitting by himself eating a hot dog, and I'm sure he just loved some jackass like me sitting down. I'm like, I just had to come over and say hello. He's like, hey, young fella, what do you think of this Braves team? You know, just we start talking baseball.
So great.
And I'm just like, I know you've heard this a million times, but you know, I grew up watching you in Miller Lite commercials. My dad was a big Miller Lite drinker, and I just, you know, he goes, that was the best time of my life shooting those commercials. That was the greatest thing ever. It really said it really revived my career, put a little money in my back pocket because I was a nobody. And what a great dude. What a great dude. Exactly. You know, sometimes there's a public persona and then there's the real guy, you know, like a Bob Greasy asshole. But Buick was just like, you know, exactly like you would think he is in real life. Same exact dude. So yeah, beloved.
And you know, it's interesting, you know, a lot of people younger than us, and even a few people our age, like obviously don't remember his playing career. Like he only played for 6 years.
Yeah, he was terrible.
All in the National League, as a catcher, backup catcher. But you know, but we remember him from those commercials. We remember him from Major League, of course, and then he was on what was Mr. Belvedere, the sitcom in the 80s. Like
yes, that's right. Yeah,
he made all of that. He flipped it into a sitcom. You know, that sort of brought him back into the forefront. Not a lot of people, I think, us our age and younger than us, even know that he actually played baseball. But it's just, man, he's such a national treasure, and it's a rough day, man. He was one of my favorite guys.
Another breaking news: CBS reporting that Bill Belichick has not signed his UNC contract.
Yes, I saw that. But he has hired almost a complete staff.
Yeah, that he's going to turn over to his son. That his son's going to be the head coach. Like, who saw this coming? Everybody. I mean, he's not even going to make it to Chapel Hill.
He's got to make it past June 1st, right? Because that's when his buyout goes.
No, he hasn't signed it,
so it doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter. God. He's a free agent.
God, I hate the
world. So how quickly do the Cowboys interview him?
Trust me, here locally, his name's already out there. Ed Werder, formerly of ESPN, here with the Dallas Morning News, and our WFAA Cowboys insider is already tweeting out this morning that the Cowboys are going to interview him.
How about that?
How stupid is that?
Is it stupid or is it just for the Cowboys, you mean?
No, I just think the whole situation is stupid. The whole situation is stupid. I would love to have him here.
How dumb does UNC look?
Well, how dumb does Belichick look for doing this? Don't freaking get up there at the table wearing your UNC blue and take the job and meet the media and give them your plan for the future and tell everybody how freaking dedicated you are to Chapel Hill and then not sign your contract. And now you're interviewing for head coaching jobs in the NFL. You just took a job.
Did I not say this was going to happen? I thought it'd be in year 2. I thought he'd maybe coach 1 year. But I didn't think necessarily. Actually, I think I did say, well, let's wait to see if he ever coaches there. Because
who would have thought he wouldn't even sign his contract?
It never made sense. Like, why would you go to college? Like, people are leaving college to go to the NFL. They're not. It's not the other way around. You know. And why?
Mike Lombardi's there.
Yeah,
working for him already.
They all had to know that he was just getting them jobs. Hey, all you want to work at UNC? I think I can fool these stupid people, these hayseeds in North Carolina, into thinking that I'm going to come coach with them, and I'll set you guys up, and then I'll bolt for the Cowboys job. You guys need a job? Sure, Dad. That sounds great. Because Lord knows I'm not going to get a head coaching job on my own, for God's sakes. Actually, his son has done a pretty good job at where's he at? Washington?
Washington. His son can get a job on his own. He doesn't need his dad. Other reports coming out of Dallas this morning, sort of breaking, at least in our neck of the woods, that Dion has said he would welcome an offer from Jerry Jones to coach the Cowboys.
Wow.
So, which means, number one, it hasn't happened yet. And number two, I mean, he hasn't even officially interviewed yet. They had a phone conversation. That's not an interview. But Dion has said I would welcome an offer. I would welcome an offer from Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
fornication was my drug.
Because then what's he going to do? He's going to take it right to Colorado. I have intimate knowledge of how this works, by the way.
With sure.
Because I was the one he used to get the money from Colorado and still haven't gotten my commission check, by the way, Dion.
Yeah, you deserve that money.
Bastard. Where's my cut, dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to put it out there in the ether and get everybody to report that he's talking to the Cowboys and might even talk to them. And then he'll go back to his Colorado boss and say, old Jerry there just offered me $15 million a year to coach the Cowboys. You want a match? And like this guy's still trying to figure out how he's paying him $5 million a year. Although that's, they rolled the dice. I remember the Colorado AD saying, somebody asked him, like, you have the money? You haven't paid a coach more than $1 million, I think, in the history of the program. He's like, how are you going to find the money for Dion? He's like, I don't know, but we'll find it. And I love that.
We'll make it happen.
I love that. And guess what? Did you see that stadium? You see all the new premium seating they put in Boulder? And all this, and it was packed for every game. He's more than paid for his salary already.
They weren't that great.
No, they're not. And listen, what advantage is he going to have? Was it Ryan Clark I heard talking about this? He's talking about, it's a younger league now in the NFL, and Dion's going to be able to relate to the players. I mean, far be it for me to disagree with the great Ryan Clark, Emmy Award winning, but I don't see it. He has a definite advantage. His charismatic advantage in college will attract talent, and talent is going to win him. The amount of talent that he can attract is going to win him 8-9 games every year. Now, is he going to be able to coach his way into the elite level? I don't know. I don't want to say he can't, but he's going to have to prove that.
Yeah, we had an in-depth discussion about this last night on the Colby Sapp and IndyCar Tim show, Mondays and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern at fanstreamsports.com. And look, I would be okay with Dion coaching the Cowboys as a field general, and he brings in, I don't know, Robert Saleh to coordinate the defense and name your hot, offensive coordinator now. Yeah. Whoever, and he's got guys handling both sides of the ball, and all Dion has to do is manage his team, manage the clock, which I think he can manage the clock. I haven't seen him fail miserably at either of his stops with that. But, the caveat here is that Dion and Jerry have a very intimate relationship. And I think Dion could put Jerry in his place.
Yeah.
When it came down to Jerry barking orders at him, hey, you need to start so-and-so at running back this.
Well, that's
Dion's
the deal.
Say,
That's the deal. It's like when you take Dion, and I think it's one of the reasons South Florida was a little hesitant, to be quite honest. You are ceding your entire program to him. You have lost control.
Yep.
Now, in Colorado, they saw that as a good thing. They were so terrible. They got nothing. They had nothing going for them. And so you gladly give him the keys to the car. I don't know if USF was okay with that. I don't know. It's a big deal. And there's a lot of things that have happened in Colorado that are not great. The locker room, guns, cash, and like jewelry being stolen, fights between coaches and players. I mean, the underbelly at Colorado is not pretty.
Right.
Is not pretty. And then there's no hiding that stuff. So, yeah, there's been a lot of positives, but there have been a lot of negatives too that are embarrassing for the university. And I'm not sure, Michael Kelly was all in on that.
Yeah.
And you can, and he might end up being right.
Christopher Cole brought up a good point. I think this is about Belichick. This isn't the first time he's done this. Oh yeah, I forgot. He took the head coaching job with the Jets. And then just bolted.
Right. Yes,
that worked out pretty well for him, And then Bucs raised bolts. Yes, I saw that. Yes, Kellen Moore has been granted permission to interview with the Cowboys. If that happens, JP, if Kellen Moore is hired as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, you will never hear me say a kind thing about the Dallas Cowboys for as long as Kellen Moore is involved in the organization. I'm going full 100% Bucs fan. Screw the Cowboys if that happens, because that would be a most ridiculous, miserable hire for the organization.
Yeah, I don't get that one. I don't
I don't
get
know why
that.
anybody would be interested in him as their head coach.
You just fired him as your OC. Why are you talking to him as your?
And
Why are
he
you
did not
interviewing
leave.
him?
Yeah, he did not leave on good terms with the Jones family at
So what
all.
are you doing? What are
He
you
and
doing?
McCarthy butted heads. First of all, he was thrown at McCarthy whenever he got hired as the head coach. Well, you can be the head coach, but he's your OC. So
Why?
take it or leave it. Because that's how Jerry operates. Because Jerry hires the OC. Jerry hires the DC. And then you got to find a head coach to deal with it.
Dysfunction junction.
So
My
much
Lord.
Yeah. That's why it's, that's like if the new head coach, whoever it is, comes in, will he even be able to hire his own guys? Like, that's the big question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why everybody fails in Dallas, JP.
Yes, of course. Someone else was also lamenting what the Rays. Here it is. Bucs Rays Bolt says, I'm not buying that Hurricane Milton played a role in the Rays missing out on Roki Sasaki. Aaron Jacobson said that? Or is he saying that? Listen, I'm so tired of the Rays making excuses about not signing players. Oh, we're in it on Aaron Judge. Oh, we're in it on Freddie Freeman. No, you're not. No, you're not. You were never in it. Just because you called one of your connections, your Buster Olneys, and hey, we're in it for Freddie Freeman if you want to report that. No, you're not. Yeah. You're not even in the neighborhood, and you never were. Now, Sasaki is a different deal. As a foreign player, you know, there's a certain amount. It's not up for open bids, so you have to outbid everybody. You just have to allot your maximum amount in your foreign player acquisition pool, which the Rays have now turned their attention to 12 guys that they signed. One of them is a big 17-year-old who was the 9th best international prospect. 6'3", 190 pounds, and he's 17 years old.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Cortez or Corret, Coret, C-O-R-E-T is his last name. So in Sasaki's, the Blue Jays, Dodgers, and Padres are in it for them. So he's not going to sign. And they said it's because he didn't know where he was going to play in years 2 and 3. Like, obviously this year he knows he'd be playing at Steinbrenner, which I don't know why a player would rather play in the Trop than Steinbrenner Field. Like, okay, an empty stadium, an empty mausoleum, although it is a bit of a pitcher's park, over an active outdoor ballpark. Of course, the dimensions aren't great. Steinbrenner for pitchers and left-handed hitters. I get it, but if you're a good pitcher, you pitch around that, right? You figure it out. So I don't know. It's, to me, anything that comes out of the Rays about, we had great conversations with his agent and we were definitely a player, but now we're not. I mean, just get the player or don't. Do you know of any other organization that does this?
No.
I mean, do you ever hear like something? Oh, the Rangers were in it on this team, this guy, or the Rangers were in it. No, it's either
the Rangers will tell you, "Hey, we'd like to have so and so," but but no.
And then they'll actually go out and spend money and do it and
get
win
somebody
a World
else.
Series. Yeah, they'll actually go and spend money, which of course our owner will not do. And our good friend Chris Latvala at the Pinellas County Commission was on Twitter yesterday, ripping the Rays for all this shenanigans, and also like, by the way, bonds have been improved. You guys were all pissed off at us for quote delaying. What have you done with bonds? Hey, money's ready to go. When are the shovels in the ground? When's the groundbreaking? Oh, wait, you're not doing it? Huh? Where's the proof that there's a $200 million cost overrun? Anybody got that?
So ridiculous.
But
that's it. That operating, doing business like that is like if we teased for a week that Stephen A. Smith is coming on the show Friday, and then Friday rolls around. Well, Stephen A. Smith can't come on the show now because there's bad weather in Queens and his phone reception's bad. Sorry, guys. Yeah, maybe next time.
And we did it like 4 times in a row.
Yeah. We kept teasing it.
At some point, people are, going to go, when you cry wolf, I'm going to get to the point where I'm just going to stop believing you. I'm just going to, sorry. No, but you should believe us. All right. And why should you get the benefit of the doubt? Because you've been so truthful before to everybody? No. No. Rick says, that's it, JP. This is the year the defense perfects Todd's system. Maybe I just don't want to wait around anymore. I don't want to sound disrespectful to Todd at all, because I think he's done great work. Now, for what he was handed, there's a lot of credit that he deserves. But moving forward, if you're forward thinking, and if you want to be a champion in this league, you got to take some chances, and you got to be offensive minded. So, and the Glazers know this. The Glazers know this. So we'll see how it all turns out. Hopefully Liam doesn't get a job offer and he stays. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to get a job offer. And McCarthy, by the way, is interviewing with the Bears. That seems to be a marriage that might work with Caleb Williams. I heard Tim Hasselbeck talking about McCarthy and what a great communicator he was and what a great coach he thought he was. He played for him, obviously. So, yeah. McCarthy's record speaks for itself. He's won a Super Bowl. He won 12 games 3 times with Dallas.
12-5, 3 straight years here in Dallas.
Yeah.
With just one postseason win in those 3 seasons, by the way.
That's a lot better record. That's a lot better record than Todd Bowles, by the way.
Right.
And he didn't get a contract extension.
And I'll say it again. Look, I like Mike McCarthy. I still think he's got something. I think Jerry Jones held him back. I really, really do. I think Jerry Jones held him back.
Yeah, I agree. This ain't happening. Tom Brady hiring Bill Belichick? Yeah. No. Have you not been paying attention? That's, I believe that's oil and water.
Yeah.
Bucs GM Jason Light hints at future of Todd Bowles. Again, folks, it's nice for him to be quoted, but
doesn't mean anything right now.
It does. What's he going to say? He's a terrible coach. It's just not.
You know what? Jason Light could come out and have a press conference and say, we're happy with Todd Bowles' performance the last couple of years. We can't wait to see what he can do for us next year. Even if Jason Light said that would mean nothing.
Right.
So quit reading into stuff, because it doesn't mean anything.
Nathan Elliott says, if Jason Light loses Spytek, Greenberg, and Davis, he could screw up free agency and the draft. If that happens, all talk about Coen is for naught. Players play, and Bowles didn't have the players needed this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's a question I have, Nathan. Does personnel affect how you use timeouts and manage games? To some degree, yeah. Lack of personnel. Well, it should. But I'm just in terms of managing games. I know they had injuries on defense. So did the Lions. So every team has injuries. That's the mark of a good coach, coaching around injuries. Yep. But, again, you're 2-6 in 1-score games this year. Are we going to blame all the players for that? And we would see the egregious use of timeouts or not use of timeouts. You look at his overall head coaching career. Again, I hate just bad mouthing Todd, but these are issues that have to be talked about when you're talking about moving forward. I think he kind of this is his kind of ceiling as a head coach, in my opinion. You get you to the playoffs with a good roster. There's a lot of guys that can do that. There's a lot of guys can do. What does he do great? What does he do really well that you can't do without? What is his superpower? That's what I keep asking. Because I can answer that with Liam Coen. I can answer that with Mike Tomlin. I can answer that with Andy Reid. I can answer that with Dan Campbell. All those top coaches, I can tell you exactly what their superpower is. And consistently go look at the rankings of head coaches. Todd Bowles is consistently ranked in the bottom half or worse. Yeah. What does that mean? I don't know. But, if you have coaching rankings, people that cover the league, he doesn't rate very well. So, again, we'll see how it all turns out. All right, let's hit one more break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more. We haven't talked any Bolts at all, so we'll do that as they get ready to take on Anaheim tonight. And a couple other notes for the NFL this weekend. And I'm sure Tim has a couple other nuggets he'd like to get in as well. Quick break. Stay with us. Old Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing, reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite. I love it. So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on this Thursday, getting ready for the national championship game on Monday. We'll preview that. Maybe I'll be able to get Lou Holtz on the show on Monday. He's going to the game. I tell you, I went to his birthday party this weekend.
Yeah, you said you were going. How'd that go?
It was really cool. I haven't posted pictures yet, so I need to post the pictures yet, but I'll show you.
How old is he?
88. He turned 88, and he had his 88 national championship team there to celebrate.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. So Tony Rice and all the boys. Really see that because of the glare.
Nice.
The old man, there he is. Yeah. That's me and Fitzy. You know, Fitzy's married. Fitzy's sister is married to Skip Holtz.
Right.
So that's how Fitzy knows the coach. And the coach is going to the game tonight or Monday. And he tweeted out, you know, he and Ryan Day got a little something going on.
Right.
So he tweeted out, Ohio State has the talent, but Notre Dame has the heart, the culture, and the defense to win this game. Stay patient, run the football, and trust the process. Notre Dame wins a close one by 3. Remember, we're Notre Dame, and they ain't. Says Lou. Yeah, so he questioned Ohio State's toughness. And Ryan Day came back at him. This was like last year, I think it was. And Ryan Day came back at him. I want to say something to Lou Holtz. Going after Lou Holtz, an 88-year-old man.
Ryan Day, what are you? What are you doing, Ryan Day?
Yeah, that
was some more Michigan game film. Okay, just leave Lou Holtz alone.
There was all of his players from the 88 team were there. Tony Rice was the quarterback, I believe. Who was something Rocket. He wasn't there, but he had a little video that he sent there.
So all those Jimmy Johnson got an invitation to that birthday party.
Probably not. Ian Poulter was there.
Was he really?
Yeah, Ian Poulter was there. He's a friend of Lou's because he lives in Lake Nona, and so they had it at the Lake Nona Clubhouse. Beautiful dinner, open bar. Yeah, Coach Charlie Strong was there. He coached with Lou at Notre Dame. So and Deborah Spot. So yeah, a lot of fun people. Met a lot of fun people. A couple billionaires there that I chatted with. Trying to get some money.
Aside from you being there?
Like, hey, you interested in a sports media company? You got something going. We could use an opportunity for you. We could use a mill or two to get things going, pumped up a little bit. What do you say?
That would help tremendously.
He's like, I have no idea who you are. I'm just a very rich man. I'm an Indian and I'm very rich. No, super nice guy. I won't give his name. He's really nice. We chatted with him at the bar for a little bit. Yeah. So that was fun. And Lou wasn't going to go to the game, and now he's going to go. So that's cool.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll find out if Fitzy's going Monday night.
He's going to witness an Irish loss.
Yeah, it's in Atlanta, right? It's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Hey, Kenny Chesney's coming to the Sphere. Just announced what Kenny Chesney. Come on, shut up.
He's still a thing.
Oh my God, No Shoes Nation is huge. He's like the new Jimmy Buffett.
No,
he's like the new Jimmy Buffett. Yeah. What do you mean no? Shut up. Have you ever been to a Kenny Chesney concert?
No, I've never been to a Kenny. You couldn't pay me $1 million. Well, you could pay me $1 million to go to a Kenny Chesney.
Oh, gee, like you're a no fun. You're like no fun nation. That's what you are.
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Yeah.
Is the only notable thing, relevant thing he has ever done in his entire career. That and marrying Renee Zellweger for 2 days.
I was small. I interviewed. He was on the side. He used to come to Bucs games all the time. I interviewed him when I was doing sideline work for Channel 8. I interviewed him. God, he's so short. Super nice guy. Right? Big football fan. Yeah. The Boys of Fall literally brings a tear to my eye every time I hear it.
He just his music just has never.
You ever see the video? You ever see the Boys of Fall with the Sean Payton intro where he's talking to the high school team? Oh,
never heard of it.
Are you out of your mind?
No.
I guess we'd have to pay royalties or something. We can't show that, can we?
Probably not.
All right, I'll put it on my Twitter and you can watch it. Oh, and if you've ever played high school football, did you play high school football?
No, baseball and hockey. Okay,
yeah. So if you ever played, well, it's kind of same thing. It's just about going back to high school, and it's a great song. And then the pre-game talk that Sean Payton does in the beginning of the song is just off the charts. It's so good. It chokes me up every single time.
I just don't care.
Yeah, Thomas is right. You go to a Kenny Chesney concert, and yeah, it's a chick thing.
All right. Yeah, well, I got all those other chicks everywhere else. I don't need more.
There you go.
I'm sure he's great. He's just never, ever been on my radar, ever, for anything. Like, to me, when he was popular, my favorite country singer was Clint Black. I was all about Clint Black. And to me, Kenny Chesney was just a poor man's Clint Black.
He is a nothing. Clint Black just never did it for me. Never did it for me. Like, no personality, no Kenny. Nothing. Oh, man, concerts are so fun. All right, what else we got here today? We talked about anything else you got that you wanted to get in today?
Oh, I had some Bucs things, but I think we need to save it and national championship stuff. But I want to save the national championship stuff for Tito tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. Good to go. Yeah. So, as far as new hires, McCarthy to the Bears, Bill Belichick to the Cowboys. So you said Ed Werder's reporting that he is going to interview for the Cowboys job.
That it's in play. He didn't say it was scheduled or anything. Because look, here's something else. Now, Ed Werder
Dion or Belichick?
Dion.
Who would you take?
Dion. Give me Dion.
Yeah. I don't think either one of them's a good.
Now, here's something that I just saw on the X machine a little bit ago during the break, and it was Ed Werder had posted that it's being reported to Ed Werder. So his source is telling him the offer sheet that Belichick signed is a binding contract, is what he was told. And then Mike Florio, the attorney, quoted that from Ed Werder and said, and he attached a picture of the contract from UNC and said there is language in this contract that stipulates it is not a binding agreement.
What?
So the actual offer sheet that they signed says in that offer sheet that it is not a binding agreement. But Ed Werder was reporting that he was told it was a binding agreement. So according to Ed Werder, the fact that he hasn't signed his contract doesn't mean anything because he signed a binding agreement. But then Florio is disputing that, saying, no, there is language in the actual document that says it is not a binding agreement. And he posted a picture of the document. So who knows? I'm such a tired head right now with coaches.
Yeah. It's what it tells me is he is not committed to UNC. That's what all that tells me. And
Ed Werder also said that he is away on a recruiting trip right now. Is Bill Belichick making recruiting trips?
Is it even recruiting season? Is it?
I mean, I don't know. That's probably illegal right now, right? In January?
What exactly is he recruiting? That's what I want to know.
Next girlfriend?
He's on a recruiting trip. He's recruiting Jerry Jones to be his owner. That's what he's doing. On a recruiting trip. Rick says, please give the Rays time. They mean what they say. Also, Bubbles from Mons Venus will return your credit card and phone calls. You can't rush love.
I hope so, because I've been waiting on Bubbles.
Yeah. Yeah. They are not. I mean, imagine this. And like, this is not even a thing because I guess we're not to the season yet, but it's pretty clear that Eric Neander is not going to sign any high-priced or even low-priced free agents. They did sign the catcher. His name escapes me. Who is an upgrade, but certainly not an offensive weapon. He double-digit home runs. He once hit 11. Okay, great. Go Jansen. But you had the second worst offense to the Chicago White Sox, the worst team in the history of baseball. The second worst offense. And your strategy here to improve it is guys will get better. Josh Lowe will turn it back around. Brandon Lau will stay healthy the whole year. Taylor Walls will suddenly become a 300 hitter. Junior Caminero is he's gonna step right in and be a 30 home run guy. It's all these things. Yeah, that could happen, but likely not. Why not go out? You have the historically good pitching staff that's cheap. That's cheap, relatively speaking. Yeah. You could go out and spend just a little bit of money. You could get to the 100. Their payroll probably going to be in the $60, $70 million range. You could go add two big time hitters, put them in the middle of that lineup and drastically change your fortunes. And that's barely getting to 100 million. And the average payroll is 140, 150 million. You're not even close to average. And you're in the 11th largest market. Oh, but the revenues are going to be down, blah, 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 blah. You've been making money hand over fist for 15 years. You should have plenty of money. And according to the lawsuit, you got $500 million in another company that was raised money. So you got plenty of money. And by the way, you don't have to write a $700 million check for the stadium because the city and the county put all their did all the upfront money. They don't even need your money until you get into construction. Right. And you could start. I mean, but you got to put a couple of things and do a couple of things that you're required to do before March 31st. And they haven't done any of them or very few of the things they're required to do. And it doesn't look like they're going to. So what a joke of a franchise. What an absolute joke of an ownership and joke of a franchise. And we're just supposed to get excited about paying, $170, $195 for the Loge Club, which is all you can eat and drink and up, on the first base, second base side. I don't think that's actually too exorbitant of a ticket, to be quite honest. You don't get liquor like you do in the Channel Club, right. But that's similar to the hockey tickets in the Channel Club, about $175 to $200 a piece. And it's not, it's not down on the ice, but it's up in the second and third level, basically. And those are good seats. And you get all the food and the drink. I don't think it's going to be at the level of the formerly known as the Chase Club, but I think it's pretty good. Dugout Club, I think, was the same free food and beverage, not free, but included free and beverage, food and beverage, not liquor though, not liquor. $195 for the box seats, and then Home Plate Club, I think, is like $275 per ticket. That's not crazy. And from what I could tell from the website, they were going fast. There wasn't a whole lot left. And those are $22,000 tickets per year. So you buy a couple of those tickets, you're looking at $50,000. And for the Loge tickets, I think it's probably, taxes and everything, whatever, it's probably 32, 33 for 2 tickets, 33,000 or 81 home games. Most of them in March, April, and May. Not a whole lot in the summer. Just good. I think it's good to they have not released, as far as I've seen, the prices for like box tickets and everything else, but I heard just like regular tickets down the first base line are going to be near the $100 mark. Right. So I don't know how that compares to the Rangers or the rest of the league. Once all the prices come out, we'll be able to compare them, but I have a suspicion that they'll be on the much higher side because of, the lack of tickets and supply and demand. Yeah. And I think they'll be sold out. All right, partner. Good stuff.
Before we wrap things up, I want to do a little throwback machine, some way back machine stuff here, and I want to play this real quick.
We're in the top of the 9th, leading 10-7. Bases loaded, 2 down, and Rick Vaughn has come on to try and nail it down against Felipe Aguilar, a dangerous right-handed batter. Here's the pitch. Oh, shit.
The great Bob Uecker leaving us too soon.
If only. Oh, God. Imagine them being able to call the game with being able to use profanity. That'd be fantastic. What a movie. Great movie. I got to go watch that.
I'm going to watch it today. Yep. There's no question.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys for your comments. Appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see if Leon Cohen's going to get another gig, another interview or two. We'll see what Bill Belichick's doing. We'll preview the NFL games this weekend, and we'll recap tonight's game against Anaheim as the Bolts pointer is back on the ice. He will be back in there tonight. Alex Killorn in the house with the Anaheim Ducks, who beat us last week. So they a little payback tonight. So I'll be there and doing the post-game show as well. Have a great day, everybody. Go Bolts. All right, good show, brother.